The Monday Magnets podcast is powered by AIA.
Rock.
What the hell?
DJ. Cause you're making me feel alright. Come on.
I just wanna rock. DJ. Cause the music the whole night. Upper key. I just wanna rock.
DJ.
Cause you're making me feel so nice.
And I'm gonna be DJ.
Is that Robbie Williams?
Definitely not Robin.
It's not Robin.
It's Robbie.
Guys, we've lost a little bit of comedic relief during the week. Will Taylor is still down in Adelaide for gather round, even though it's wrapped up. So, Dos, who have we brought in, my friend?
Well, we brought in friend of the show, friend of the pod. I think a lot of the viewers will be familiar with his work.
Better be.
He's one of my best mates growing up, inseparable in our teenage years from the Torquay region. We got the young King Cookson. Cook and Arcus.
Massive shoes to fill, boys. I don't think I'm capable of filling them. I was a bit nervous when I got the call up. I may or may not have asked to come on, but that's neither here nor there. But big shoes to fill. So I just thought no one can be Willie T. So if I can just break even, I'll take that.
Oh, mate, I'd love you to break even.
Yeah.
Have you got the goss on Willie T? Are we going to touch on that at some point?
Yeah. Well, Clubby Sport released a very funny video over the weekend.
It wasn't in HD, and that annoyed me.
Yeah, that was.
I wanted a
pain.
bit more pixels.
Maybe I'll get it off Will's phone when
Yeah.
he comes.
Is this the
the
Moon Boy
The Moon
incident?
Boy
So fill in
situation.
to the viewers what's happened to Willie T across the weekend.
So Willie Taylor's gone down to Port Adelaide training, and his name's Mac, who does some of the social work not social work, but social media work at Clubby Sport, and they've done a little one-on-one sort of drill. I guess it was just a
Yeah, it was a competition because there's a bit of banter in at the offices to see who's better in the one-on-ones. And I think like Zach Butters was kicking the footy to them or whatnot. They're in a one-on-one.
Jason Orn Francis is down there.
And Will Taylor's ankle just rolls in opposite directions of what your ankle should roll.
Yeah.
And there's murmurs down at the Wattle Park Animals that I don't know if he'll be back to play in a couple of weeks. Like that looks like a 3 or 4 weeker minimum.
I don't know if you boys have ever done ankle ligaments. I've done it three times. How do they feel?
That genuinely feels like even when you start playing again or start moving again, it doesn't feel right, does it?
No.
You don't feel like you ever really get that mobility quite back.
No.
I've never really rehabbed at all, so that might have something to do with it. But
Did you do yours in basketball or footy?
Oh, I've just done both several times, doing, walking up the stairs, going to get a beverage out of the fridge. I don't know. They rock and roll.
What about for the animal? Last year in the Animals, Cook did his ankle.
Insert clip. No.
It was almost like a Looney Tunes style injury where he goes to kick the ball deep inside 50, and it wasn't like one where you roll your ankle and you crumple. He like kicks it, and then the ankle mechanism sends him in the air, and he flies.
Oh no! Did you get the second jump?
Haven't you seen that clip?
No.
He got like second bounce.
In the vlog, no mention. It's just also going, I was getting held again. They're holding me all game. But the kick in is me going, whoop, 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 whoa. It was really
It honestly looks
cartoonish.
like a cartoon.
And I barely got a kick for the rest of the season after that, so the ankle's never the same.
Get it right, Willie T.
Well, you've been good to start this year, Cook O. But we're going to have to wait another week of Will Taylor absence to get him back on the pod. But, mate, very excited to have you because you have a sneaky footy brain.
Sneaky, yeah. I'm just obsessed with it. Big footy nerd, footy nuff.
North Melbourne supporter.
Yeah.
Shin boner.
That really shows you. You must be a true footy fan to support North Melbourne. Like,
And still watch week in, week out.
yeah, exactly. If you're just sort of half in the footy game, you would have jumped off by now. So just shows my dedication to the game. But yeah, love it.
Well, I also want to mention, if you haven't picked up already through the sound waves in the microphone, I am not feeling great. So I might need you boys to do some heavy lifting today.
I'm prepared to do some heavy lifting. No tails. Baz is sort of at
like
half
half here.
pace.
Yeah.
So I'm up and about. I'm ready to go. I think, I've been building for this moment. So keen to rip in.
Well, maybe we just work backwards this week in the round review. Obviously, we're going to chop in, chop out. Someone commented last week they want timestamps on the pod, which makes sense because
That's just extra admin.
we talk. Yeah,
Nah.
it's making my job harder. But no, that's absolutely fair enough because he followed that up with you boys talk a bit of shit, which is also fair.
That was actually
great.
me on my burner, guys.
Yes, thanks for that comment, Cook.
Yeah.
We'll start at the end of the round. Port Adelaide Hawks, Jason Horne-Francis. Can I put a question out there to you, lads?
There's
Is
no
he-
silly questions, only silly answers.
Thank you. Is he the cleanest footballer in the league? It feels like he does not jumble the football.
Last 2 weeks he's looked super, super clean.
Oh
I'll
no,
give
this
you
is
that.
a North Melbourne fan.
No. Well,
Is there going to be some lingering feelings
no,
here?
you can't deny he's like super good at footy. Just if anyone wanted a hot take.
Thanks, mate.
But he did start the season pretty slow. Last 2 weeks been really good. As far as cleanest, I don't think too much goes past Willie Ashcroft. For me personally, I think he's him, Lockie Neal 1 and 2, which is crazy.
Will
they're in the same
Ashcroft gets
midfield.
out of some binds that you just don't know how he gets out of. Hey?
His hands at ground level is just ridiculous. But yeah, Horne-Francis looked real good the last couple of weeks. Very, very clean. But the first few weeks was a little bit more dicey for him.
He just throws himself at the footy, similar to Danger.
Yes.
Socks up.
Yep.
He's just this big body, and he's just so aggressive and competitive. Like in every contest, wills himself to it. Yeah, he's an unbelievable player to watch.
Yeah.
He's like got this good mix of contested to uncontested. Like he can run you all day on the outside if he wants to, but he doesn't have to.
I love when a big-bodied mid has a bit of marking prowess as well.
He could go forward, couldn't he? He could
Yeah.
go fucking half back.
That Dangerfield, I watching yesterday against Hawthorn, I saw Dangerfield, especially seeing how Dangerfield played on that exact same ground a couple of days before. I'm like, obviously, Horne-Francis was doing a lot more work in the midfield as Dangerfield did when he was younger. But yeah, there was a lot of Dangerfield about him. I think someone on, I can't remember if it was Fox Footy or Channel 7 broadcast, actually said, "Did you watch Dangerfield growing up?" Because like there's just many shades of it.
Yeah.
And,
Even the way he was leaping at it. Jason
Yeah.
Horne-Francis, there was one mark where he was just so out of position and he just threw his body at it and he almost brought it down. I think it was half forward or the wing. But yeah, I love those midfielders. I guess Fyfe had it. Bond not as like. I love those mids that can take a big clunk.
yeah, Fyfe was huge. That's what I was
Well,
really...
Fyfe probably revolutionised the game with him.
Yeah, his marking for a midfielder was exceptional. But that's why it was really weird that he seemed to struggle when they wanted to move him as a forward.
Yeah.
I know we're going off. Sorry, I'm a bit all over the place. But it was weird because Fyfe, an amazing marking ability for a midfielder. So when he went forward, it was interesting that he sort of struggled to play up forward for Freo when they were like, "Get out of our midfield, man." But
Yeah, it doesn't feel like that'll be an issue for the Horn.
the Horn, he's got that ability like Dangerfield. They just decide I'm bodylining this ball and I'm getting it. It's a bit of that like effective, chaotic sort of play style. Like it can look a little messy at times.
I'm either going to win it, but I'm probably not going to lose it because I'll just halve it.
Hang on, competitive beast. Yeah,
Put that on the whiteboard.
Well, we don't have one,
Okay.
but we don't want to mix teams up too quickly, but because we want to stay on this Port Hawks game.
apologies.
But Fyfe re-injured, and it doesn't seem like he's going to be back anytime soon. Which
He won't be back. He'll
is
never
it-
be back.
Is,
Nathan
is
Fyfe
that
will-
it?
Yeah.
Yes.
And
yes.
Freo have got this list building. Do you bring in an old guy that's
No,
probably
I
not going to
think-
contribute
I
that
think
much?
Fyfe, fully fit right now,
Doesn't get a game.
doesn't get a game.
Wow.
You're probably
Unless
right.
you-
Because Freo's forward
unless-
line don't need him.
Well, their midfield don't need him.
Well, but they're not playing him in there
And
anyway.
he's
Yeah.
not a silky enough ball user to go to that back, sort of freed up back line role.
Unless you're really like bending your 22 to try and fit him
fit
into
Fyfe
a
in.
position that he doesn't
Yeah.
play. Unless they lose like 2 or 3 mids and he does get back fully fit, it's shattering because he was one of our favourite players, me and Cook. We loved him growing up. Cook had his hair for a little bit. Cook had like the man bun and then that little shave
I'll
down
put
the
a
bottom.
photo up.
Don't know where we'll find it.
And the timestamp.
Susie
if,
Cookson.
if you're watching the video pod in the vodcast.
So we love Nat Fyfe, but it feels like he's been so out of the game for a long time as well. So it's shattering to hear
He's
that
had
he's
a
done the
pretty
hammy.
injury-riddled career, Fyfe. For one of the great careers, and anyone that's watched him knows, obviously he's got the Brownlows, and his resume speaks for itself, but he has missed a lot of footy for how good his career has been.
The last 5 years in particular.
Even, I think, in between Brownlows, he basically
Did the
won
shoulder?
his
Yeah.
first Brownlow, didn't really play, had a full year, won another Brownlow, and then sort of hasn't played a whole lot. But as far as that, Baz saying that Freo team building, and does he get in if they were to go deep in the next couple of years? Don't know what Fyfe's contract's like. Does it similar in a bit of a like different level to the D's with Nathan Jones at the end? Like, would have you loved to have had Nathan Jones as like a sub in that 21?
Yeah, we should have played him at the start.
Yeah.
So if Freo are ever in that position, they should play.
Not saying this year.
But
I don't, you know,
Fyfe's not a 300 game, and Jonesy is. Am I wrong?
Fyfe would have to be
Yeah,
close.
but
No way.
No, I don't reckon he would. I don't even reckon he'd be 250.
No,
I
I don't
reckon.
think
So he's like a 220.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
I
like
reckon.
some type of Tommy Mitchell areas.
But he probably goes down as a top 3 Freo player of all time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. You win 2 Brownlows.
All I would recommend is if you get a chance, just like crowbar him in for a granny.
That's
Do
what I
it.
think.
Because
Yeah.
we played James Jordan and then, we didn't even get him on the ground and it just could have been Nathan Jones.
We're just mixing this.
Sorry.
up. Let's get back to Port Adelaide Hawthorn.
That's what I bring, Baz. I be chaotic
No,
sometimes.
mate, I love it. And it's that ADHD that you bring, and it's just good.
Chaos footy. Chaos footy.
The timestamps are going to be hard.
Yeah.
Talk here. 30
Oh, mate,
seconds.
will be like, no more timestamps. They're all over the
Get
shop.
rid of the timestamps.
I'll delete the burner for this week. guys.
Jordan Sweet, who will come on the show at some point.
Is that an exclusive?
That's an exclusive. There you go. Friend of the show, Jordan Sweet. More of a friend of Tales. than-
Everyone's friends of Tails, to be honest. We're
Yeah.
just riding off the coattails of that man.
That's right.
Make me feel worse about filling in for him. Everyone loves
Where's
that
your
guy.
friends? Who are you bringing in?
You seen this couch? There's no one here.
Jordan Sweet, 47 hitouts. Lloyd Meek, 30. That is an outrageous effort from Jordan Sweet.
That's like the battle of that next tier of ruckman that are going to take over the comp in
Yeah.
the next couple of years. I would say that they're middle-aged in terms of a footballer. Like, they're not in the 30s. I'd say they're 25,
How old
26.
is Sweetie?
I reckon he's like 24, 25. Like,
He's
sort of
Wow.
27.
They take a lot longer.
They take
than
long.
these. Rowan
I'm,
Marshall,
I'm
29.
getting my
sorry,
I'm
just
getting my
quickly.
ages wrong a lot recently.
Same.
I'm pushing 30, and I just assume that they're all like 25, and some of them aren't, and I'm getting it wrong consistently.
You know what is concerning, Cook, as a long-term McDonald friend? I've known you for, what, 4 years?
Yep.
And it feels like you've been on the precipice of 30 for 4 years, if that makes
He
sense.
has lived the lifestyle
I
of a
think
30-year-old.
I think I did call it pretty. I think after 25, I went, I'm 30. I think I just called
An
it.
old soul.
Anyway, Port Adelaide also dominated stoppage. This is interesting, though. 11-2 bounces Hawthorn's way. So take
Running bounces.
yeah, take with that what you will.
No, they take the game on.
Yeah.
Jamming impy.
What was it though, boys? What was this game like? It was just a strange
Bit of a mulligan for
sorta-
the Hawks, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't. I know there was people early in the season after 1, 2, 3 wins. I think we spoke about it a little bit. Caden, that is this Hawthorn team real? They're sort of just been doing enough to get over some teams that you would think they're a lot better than. But I think that one against Port Adelaide, when everyone thought it was going to be a game that they were eyeing off and go hard at, I think it was maybe just a mulligan. Maybe they just sort of got a
Do
bit
you
cocky.
reckon they went in
and
confident because they've just beaten
Yeah.
people by heaps? Like, because Saints just beat Port at Adelaide Oval,
yeah.
and then like people are saying, I know we're mixing it up here, but people are saying that Saints have gotten a bit of a reality check from GWS, but then Port Adelaide have just beaten Hawthorn,
Yeah.
who are arguably the top of the table.
D's
and
are
then,
0-5. It's just a weird season. It's
Shut
a weird,
up, Doss.
It's a weird season where everything
are you
is
on
so-
this? You've been listening to the show.
No, but that's
Yeah,
a weird
he's-
result. The
well,
D's.
he's always been like that. The
Surely
D's-
you're sick of it.
It's a one-team league. It's just the D's.
0-5 is a
also.
weird. It's a weird sort of thing. You know what I'm.
What do you think of the Hawks' performance, Dosso?
You know what I'm finding. A little detail that I've picked
What are you
up
finding?
on
What are you finding?
in the league is blowouts are happening a lot more common. Like
Yeah.
back in the day, if you lost by 10 goals, it was sort of like front page of the paper. Horrifying result. If any result got out to 70 or 80 points, that is like a once in a season thing for your team, and you have to really take stock. And I just get the feeling with the 666 and the one-on-ones and the emphasis on the centre clearance, like if you can manhandle centre clearance with the 666, you're dominating sides really strongly. It just feels like when Port got to a 70 or 80 point lead, I was sitting there going like, this sort of doesn't really mean much for the year. Like this is
Yeah.
so dominant, but it doesn't represent what it used to represent. Like the 10 goal win is almost like a 5-goal win these days.
Is,
agree.
Is it weird? Like, has scoring gone back up?
That's what I'm feeling. I mean,
it feels like it. Hey,
not the Melbourne Essendon game, but the rest of this round for gather round was great spectacle. But the games weren't very close.
Was it?
Baz isn't a gather round man.
Well,
you don't like it?
I thought the
Wow.
last couple of years, the first couple were okay. I thought the first was really strong, and then obviously last year you had that was in the A-Lim. But I thought last year was okay. The first year was really good. Jeez, it's just the matchups this year were all off.
Because they put shocking games on because you're not going to take Carlton, Collingwood to gather rounds because
fine.
you burn that fixture. So they put the fixtures that aren't going to provide much money normally. Like Richmond, Freo at the G would only get like 30-odd thousand, but you're going to make more money with that being a gather round. So they just take all these little sort of nuanced games to gather round, so you just get horrifying results. Horrifying is not the word. I've got a bad vocab. You just get...
it was pretty...
you get mundane results.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unsatisfied.
Yeah, unsatisfied. There wasn't really a game that after half-time grabbed you.
On that, Cookson, let me just read out these scores for you. And the best game probably of the round was probably the Thursday night. Crows, Cats, 100 to 119.
True.
Well, that is a blockbuster.
We then go Collingwood, Sydney. It was fine, 109 to 78. So 30-point win in the end, which is, those can be really mundane, those ones, because they can just stay there for the whole game.
The Swans felt on the precipice a lot of that game as well.
Your boys lost by 50, 89 to 141 North Suns.
We were up by 10 points with like 10 minutes to go in the third as well. Sorry,
You've then got Carlton, West Coast, 71 points, 121 to 50.
So that got to 71.
Yeah.
Blues are back.
Brisbane, Dogs, could have been the game of the round, probably wasn't in the end. 97 118.
That's the most Brisbane result ever. Whenever Brisbane win, they score 120, but they give up 100. It's always like, Brisbane won by 20 points. And you think, what is it, like 70 to 90? And it's like, they've kicked 120. Oh, that's phenomenal.
They let 90 to Richmond last week.
But they've given up 100. Yeah, they give up 100 every week, but they always kick 120.
They're just back in their go mode when it comes down to it, don't they? And it's something pretty special.
These lost by 40 to the Dons, 57-96.
40? How did it get to 40?
Richmond, Freo, 47-108. St Kilda, GWS, that was a real mundane. As a Saints supporter as well, like that was just the same all day. The Saints never challenged. It was just
You didn't feel in the first half that it was...
Nah, I felt that like you're in striking distance, but when you look at it after the game's done, there was never a point where the Saints were threatening.
That's fair.
And then Port Hawks, 30 points, 121 to 91. There was a slight section at the start of the middle of the fourth where, it was a 27-point lead. So, like, why were you even getting excited in the first place? Because the momentum. But really mundane.
Yeah.
Really,
but
just boring.
What is good is like all those games were pretty boring. And going into it, a lot of those fixtures, like if it was North and Gold Coast at Marvel, it wouldn't be spoken about. If it was Richmond and Freo at the G, it wouldn't be spoken about. The D's and the Bombers, 1 o'clock on a Sunday, it wouldn't be spoken about. So it's cool that you can get these games that are pretty irrelevant in terms of the whole season, take them to gather round and create a festival atmosphere. Like, it's a shame that the results weren't that great, but it's cool that you could pack out stadiums and create a whole festival around it.
For sure.
Yeah.
I don't want to say that it didn't look good, and like our mates have looked like they've had a shit ton of fun. So
I've got FOMO. So much fun.
Really?
I
don't.
Not really. Actually, like I would have loved. Being on the hill with Check is an experience and a half. And some of those picks, it would have been good fun to get over.
Being on the couch with Checkers is just a great time.
True.
As far as what you were saying is for the AFL, like a business standpoint and a financial standpoint, I think getting heaps of people to gather around is a big thing, and having all those games that wouldn't maybe make as much money. I think you're actually bang on with that. Because I thought it would make sense to have the showdown maybe be the Sunday night game of gather round. But you're right, they would never do that because they're gonna absolutely pump out the showdown anyway. So you don't want to waste it there at gather round where you're going to get that crowd anyway. So I think you're bang on. But we want the entertainment. We want the spectacle. We don't care about your pockets, AFL. We want
styles make fights.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. If we're working backwards and we're staying on this trend,
are we going to talk about Water Park at some point?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you want to just quickly wrap up? So Hawthorn. Sorry to cut you off, but Hawthorn.
No.
Quickly wrap up. Nathan Fyfe.
No. Just Hawthorn Mulligan. That's what I think. You.
Yep.
Yeah.
Agree.
Sweet. Sorry, we're all there. I
Agree.
just needed clarification.
I don't think.
Apologies.
Like,
A good word, Mulligan. They use it on Fox Footy. It is a golfing term where if you have a bad round or bad hole,
Yeah.
See, I only used it when I used to skateboard and scooter, and you'd play a game of pig or something or skate,
Skate,
and then if you landed your trick sketchy, didn't count, so you got a mulligan to try
yeah.
again.
So I think Mulligan means, is it in golf where the
Right off hole.
like you can write the hole off?
Oh, I think so. That's what the YouTubers that I watch do. So.
Anyway, moving backwards in time, St Kilda Giants. We need to pay Nazar Wanganeen Malira $3,000 million a year.
He's very good at football, isn't he?
You love him.
Yeah, I think he's unreal.
He was-
I love those players that can cut up a game with their feet coming off the back line. It's such a hot commodity in the current game. Like if you have that guy, you can score so much easily. As I think you said one of the last weeks, back half scoring is like such a trend right now. And if you have guys that can cut up the ground coming out of half back with pace and good kicking, it's so much easier for your team to score. So yeah, he's unreal.
Yeah, it's like teams' ability to score off the half back line compared to teams' ability to score from centre clear. Oh, it's like it's way the trend at the moment is to do it off the half back line. So to have Naz doing what he does, it's ridiculous.
I'm just scared he's gonna leave us.
Crows, is that what it's looking like?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Crows or Port.
That's-
if they got
That's scary.
Either team getting Naz is a bit scary.
yeah.
Either of the sides. Because
Adelaide footy's pretty well placed at the moment.
Yeah,
like
it
both
is.
teams are just like
You think?
pretty well set.
I think so.
I think Port are on the precipice of a bit of a crumble.
Really?
Yeah, I know they just had a
Well-
great win against their big rivals of the last 6 months, but Ken out.
Houston.
Butters is going to be gone soon. Houston already left.
Butter's gone.
Yeah, I think.
Is Butters go back to Vic?
Oh, look, I think that's
Breaking
pretty.
news on
You
the
know,
Do you think Butters goes back to Victoria?
yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
well,
in,
yeah.
I don't know. I think is he contracted
Miles
until the end of
Bergman?
next year?
Miles Bergman wants to come back.
Well, apparently Port Adelaide just want to get rid of every single good kicking halfback over the
Yeah.
last 5 years.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know,
Kane Farrell's going to fuck off.
Yeah, they're
Farrell,
not listening to the
Bergman,
pod,
they're already-
listening to how important it is to have the halfbackers.
Darcy
Houston,
Byrne
you can go
Jones.
for a packet of chips.
Dustman Jones was an All-Australian as a halfback. Oh, let's put him as a roaming forward. Like
Yeah.
weird. Don't like their good kickers off the back line.
This was also the unofficial B. McCabe versus A. Cookson derby. Do you know why?
What the St Kilda Giants? Because I like the
Can I
Giants.
guess?
A new barrack for St
Can
Kilda.
I guess? Sam Taylor versus Cal Wilkie.
Correct. Well done, McDonald.
Who won the battle?
Well, let's go to the statistics.
Oh, here
hey?
we go. Loves the stats, this guy.
Well, let's go to the statistics, hey?
I'm not a massive stats guy. Just while he's looking,
Nah, the eye test is always.
the eye test. I'm always on the eye test.
Well, fantasy's probably the most
No,
useful
Fantasy.
statistic.
No, I do not
Fantasy-
think
That's
so
the
at
stat.
all. I
Ratings
couldn't-
is good.
couldn't
Fantasy's a
disagree
bit
more.
dodge.
Fantasy's the statistic you look at and think that shows who played better.
Oh, that's a mulligan, that take.
And Sam Taylor won the fantasy battle.
Oh,
So-
I thought you were going to say.
no, I just think
So
that's
you're calling
irrelevant.
bullshit on the fantasy, so
I
that
thought
means
you-
Wilkie's
I
better.
thought you were drumming it up.
No, it
'cause
doesn't
Wilkie-
mean either way. I just think it's irrelevant.
No, I agree. I know what you're
Personally.
saying. Cookson, get this
completely.
hat over there. Why didn't I
Oh,
give
sorry.
you that?
Sorry, my bad.
Just
Put it
shout
on.
Shout him
Nah.
out
Can
as well.
I put it on?
You can, yeah. I mean, yeah.
That's a good repping, isn't it?
Absolutely,
That's a
it
great
is.
rep.
Well, the dome, the little. You know, I got called a toe on the weekend.
Really?
Yeah, I got called a
By the
toe.
I can
umpire?
see it. I can sort of
no,
see it.
the umpire told me to get a kick, and their big ruckman called me a toe. So
You blokes got lippy, but we'll talk about that later.
Always get lippy. Let's look at the fantasy stats. No, just the stats in general. Callum Wilkie, 18 touches. Let me go in-depth analysis mode. 6 marks.
It's coming down a lot for Wilkie, so that
90% efficiency, Wilkes.
that is insane.
8 intercepts. 3 score involvements from fullback.
Wow.
And then we'll go to our man Sam Taylor, who had 19 disposals.
Wow.
Same amount of marks. He had 8 marks as well. At 63% efficiency. He had 9 intercept possessions and 6 turnovers.
It's a pretty even game. I guess both fullbacks did their
more
job.
efficient.
You know, if I'm getting picky.
Well, I want to hear how many goals their direct opponents kicked.
I reckon if they stood on each other, Sam Taylor would have a field day.
So Callum Wilkie had 1 turnover. Sam Taylor had 6.
Sam Taylor is enormous.
But he can't kick a footy.
Yeah, I know, but you know he's not there to kick it. He's got
But
Lockie
the
Ash
Callum
and
Wilkie
Whitfield.
plays a very
and-
similar position and kicks the shit out of it.
Yeah, is that? But so Wilkie, I think, is an amazing one-on-one defender. 100%. There's no taking away from that. Sam Taylor can hurt you offensively purely by the intercepts. Like, and as those stats show
Well,
Wilkie gets the
had
intercepts.
one
I know,
less intercept.
I know, but come on, if we're talking
And then
marking,
delivered off the boot.
if we're talking
Sam Taylor did not deliver off boot, Austin.
yeah, but you don't want him kicking all that much. A lot of his kicks
Why?
are going long down the line.
So
'cause
you
they
don't
have,
want your players to kick,
No.
be able to kick.
No, you want the ball in the hands of a Lockie
So you'd
Ash or a Lockie
prefer
Whitfield.
no. What you're telling me, Austin, is you'd prefer a key position player to not have a good kick because then he can just hone in on his
I
intercept
don't think
marking.
you need a key position to kick.
I don't really.
But if he can kick, you think that's
it's
useless.
handy.
No, not useless. That's what I'm just saying. It's a useless stat that Wilkie can use the ball better. It's definitely an up for him. Like, it's a good thing to have. But when you're looking at like Wiedering and Wilkie and Sam Taylor, Harris Andrews, these guys, you don't go, oh my God, I want them to be elite ball users. They have offensive halfbacks who don't even really man up these days that are purely there to get the ball. Like they want to
handball.
rebound.
Mazai Wanganeen leaks probably 3 or 4 goals by being way too far up the field on the weekend.
He probably gains 5.
Yeah, that's right.
That's probably a net positive.
100%. He does. He gains. There's so much gain from him playing that attacking footy, but it was if Wilkes intercept marked at the same clip as Sam Taylor did, but kicked at a 20%, 30% better clip. Same amount of one disposal less than Sam Taylor. Same
I'd
marks,
have to see the kick.
Same
Like, if it's a
intercepts.
sidewards, like little 15 meter.
Sam Taylor's not.
Sam Taylor had 6 turnovers.
Yeah.
Wilkie had 1.
It's a mulligan for Sam Taylor.
But is he kicking long down the line?
Yeah, a lot of the time he does.
Contest?
He's not a horrendous kick. He can kick it 55
Who
metres.
cares where they're kicking it? He went at 90%.
I'm saying when you have live ball coming out of the back line for the Giants, Sam Taylor is not going to be the one distributing it. They're finding Lockie out. Even Himmelberg will kick the ball more
Wilkie
than...
probably shouldn't be distributing either, but the fact that he's got it in his kit bag is so much more useful than if he didn't have it in his kit bag, such as Sam Taylor, who just doesn't fucking have it.
No, I
Alright,
wouldn't
I'm sick of
say
this
Sam
Saints game.
Taylor...
I'm sick of this Saints game.
The turnover thing, I wouldn't say Sam Taylor's a horrendous kick of the football. Like, you're right.
Well,
You'd have to
the
see
stats argue.
Not a stats guy.
The fantasy
super
stats.
coach.
The fantasy stats.
And when
The fantasy stats, Kane Corn says.
yeah. No, I actually like that by Corno.
That was fucking so
good.
funny. I felt like it was
I've got
unfair.
him.
I did feel like it was unfair to the caller.
Yeah, he didn't...
Because Kane Corns uses jiu-jitsu to put them in a bind. And it
Because-
was brilliant.
Because, fantasy stats at the end of the day mean like
The
nothing.
caller was right. Jack McRae is a
correct.
gun, but he was trying to out-chess Kane Corns by
Guy
using
didn't come
fantasy.
correct.
And Kane Corns knew it. And, so good. Great
you-
content.
Yeah, great content.
Would you like a little bit of I think Kane sort of has a point in the general argument that possessions are a little bit overrated.
Yeah.
I think Chris Fagan said the most overrated stat in football is possessions, which I sort of agree with as well. It's what
That's
you do
handy
with
for
it.
us because I reckon we all had 5 on the weekend.
Yeah. I had a few more. Don't worry about it. But someone like McRae has been awesome. Like a lot better than what Kane was sort of suggesting because he was sort of being stubborn on his point. Do you reckon it would be better from someone like Kano to sort of concede a little bit? Yeah, McRae has been good. Like he's not this like complete shift, but he has been good. He's racked up the ball.
He should have because when that guy called in, and I agree, fantasy stats don't mean anything.
Yeah.
But he did score 150 and 160. You know what I mean?
It's a shame it means nothing.
Which, at the end of the day, it means something if you're looking at the overall. Like, it doesn't mean you're the best on the field or anything like that, but it means you've done something.
100%.
I don't know how McRae is doing statistically with contested possessions, but what I've been impressed by is there's been a few times I tune in and he's cracking in and like winning his own footy. And I don't know if he did that a little bit less at the Dogs because he had Libba and whatnot sniffing around the coldface, but I've been impressed by how tough and strong Jack McRae is. It's cool when you see someone, and maybe a lot of Dog supporters would be saying, man, he's done that for years and I'm only just noticing it now. But it's cool. Like, I remember Gary Ablett Jr., it felt like when he was at Geelong, he got fed the footy a lot. And maybe that wasn't a realistic criticism and I was just coping at the time. But when I saw Gary Ablett go to the Gold Coast Suns and he had to do it himself, it took him to another level. And I'm sort of seeing that a little bit with Jack McRae.
I feel like McRae, when he first sort of got out of favour at that Bulldog side, it was a bit of a shock to everyone because he was, 2-3-time Brownlow, All-Australian.
Yeah.
And it was
BNFs?
a bit, BNFs and the most 30 possession games in a row or something. It was crazy. And I think the word was that he wasn't tackling pressure and tracking back as much. And Bevo sort of found that's not what we want to roll with. That could be wrong. That was the vibe I sort of got. But I feel like you watch him, he does find a lot more time in the back half for the Saints this season. So I think he's obviously taken the criticism from Bevo pretty well and taken it over to the Saints and said, oh, we'll crack in. And I'm with you. I don't know, Baz, do you have his tackling stats at all? Well, I feel like he's cracking in more. By the eye test, could be wrong though.
Yeah,
I can get it for you if you'd like.
I would like to see.
Can we get off the Saints game, please?
Yeah,
just because we're on, Jack McRae, he did get tagged really well on the weekend by Toby Bedford.
He does it well.
He only had 17, which
Snooze.
for what McRae's been putting out, that is a bit of a.
That probably went a
holdback.
long way to stopping the Saints.
Yeah, 100%. And I would just like to finish
Steele?
this. No, Steely was back.
Oh.
But I would just like to finish off by saying I really like Sam Taylor. He's a gun. Sam Taylor is a gun.
As I like Wilkie.
I just really like my man Wilkes.
We love key defenders.
Richmond Freo, probably not a lot to speak on. Did you see anything, Austin?
Yeah, I did. I think Richmond in that first half, actually, I think if you're a Richmond fan, you're pretty happy.
Bloody oath.
Purely off scoreboards, you're going, what's going on here? We're dusty. We're not winning flags. But they are giving it a go. These young lads are really, rocking up to games. They dropped out by that second half, and Freo really took the mickey out of them in that third quarter especially. But that first half, they were really, really there with them, and it was actually quite impressive.
Did they kick a snag in the second half?
I'm not sure.
I don't know if they did.
Yeah, it was a filthy old thing. Tracy came to play early as well.
I was going to say, Josh Tracy, little six piece.
Yeah, it was a little shootout, 6 goals each. He kicked the first 3 goals for Freo. And the big kahuna was firing. He looked like he could have had about 10 for a stage there.
I love the big kahuna. He's got an appetite for contact. He just loves getting a bit of body on.
He wants to hurt, doesn't he?
He wants to hurt, and he chases his second efforts, his work rate up the ground. I know that he probably had that breakout year last year, but he's just kept it up this year. He's like one of the best forwards in the comp.
His partner in crime hasn't quite rocked up to the party yet this season.
Never miss.
Nev, he's gone walkabouts, I think, and it's...
But you know who has stepped up a little bit is Pat Voss.
Pat Voss he wants to hurt as well. Between him and Tracy, they might be the Bash brothers in the forward line. They want to bruise everyone that comes near him. He's purely intensity and vibe that he brings to a team is actually really cool. I think he can lift that Freo team.
When they got Pat Voss, I was like, man, he played at Essendon.
Yep. Did he play many senior games?
No, I'm not sure he played. Yeah. But he was at Essendon, got delisted. Went to Freo, and it was like, how many stories where the delisted guy that didn't get a sniff at all at one club becomes a genuine contributor at your footy club. So I sort of didn't have much belief in him, but he's a great size. He needs to work on his kicking. Doesn't need to work on his celebrating. He loves a good celebration. But great size, combative, competitive.
Yep.
And all he has to do is play second fiddle for Josh Tracy. Like, if they lost Josh Tracy, their forward mix would be a bit of a watch and a bit of a worry. But because Josh Tracy's there, because he will get there.
He should be the number one, I think. I think this might be weird, but I think his ability is higher than Tracy, I think.
Jai
Amos, yeah.
I just don't think his size is
he hasn't been showing
Reed's
it.
really performing some nice forward pressure in there.
Little duds.
Yeah.
Duds came on as the sub. He's a little X factor.
He's elite.
Maybe Pat Voss needs to hit up Sam Taylor for some kicking advice.
I think Pat Voss, he just needs to keep doing what he's doing, bring that physicality. But if they get a little bit of a rise from Nev, we could see a surge from Freo.
He's going to get there, Jai Miss. I think he's the youngest out of all of them.
Yeah, I think he can be a star. It's rare that you see a key forward come onto the scene as hot as he did as well. He started really well, and now he's sort of having his slump and working it out. But he'll get there.
One more for this game, boys. This is just getting outrageous. And if you're a frequent flyer of the pod, Jacob Blight, you'd know he's my boy and he's Taylor's boy. He's gone back to back weeks with a goal, playing from fullback. 3 weeks in a row he's kicked a snag.
That would have to be unheard of.
I don't know how he's done it. I don't know how.
Well,
But
that's why Josh Tracy kicked 6, guys.
yeah, rolling up.
You and Tails love the Tigers. What is the love there?
Nah, we love 2 blokes.
Oh, okay.
We like
Benson.
we like a lot of them, but there's 2 we like. We love Benny Miller, and we love Jacob Blight.
He's got a sort of bit of a history with the Tigers.
Yeah, let's not go there. Dossie, You have a minute. I'll even
I
give
don't
you
need
90
a minute.
seconds.
I don't need a minute.
Okay, well,
I
mate,
don't want a minute, actually.
Oh, well, unlucky, brother. You've got a minute.
Shut up, Dos.
What, is the minute starting now?
Go.
Well, the D's need to get a hurry on. They really need to get a hurry on. I'm going to sound a little bit pretentious and a bit cocky here.
Go on.
The results at the moment are hurting my football ego. So we were a horrendous footy side for a long time, and then we got good for 4 years. And I never reached like sort of Hawthorn, Geelong, Collingwood levels of entitlement where I just think I felt like our form was temporary when we got good. But now that we are dropping results to teams that I know deep down we should be better than, it's really hurting the ego. So we made a middle of the road Essendon side look really good, and that just infuriated me. And I'm really struggling to watch the game I once loved.
Let's get real. Are the D's done? Because
Yeah.
you have
No, they're done. They're done, mate.
You have May and Lever, who are reaching the end. You have Petrarca and Oliver.
Lever's not. I would say Lever's... He's only like 28, 29. I get my ages wrong.
I think he's 29.
He's got to be older.
Yeah, he's
No,
28.
no,
he's
he's
at
young.
least 29. You've got
Might be 20.
Petrarca and Oliver, which currently are volatile. You've got a 32-year-old Max Gawn.
Volatile.
Man, I am just seriously worried.
I'm worried about May. But he had 27 last week against
That's
the Cats.
fine. You can get touches, but that doesn't mean your career's going to extend.
He dropped an uncontested mark. Well,
Yeah, and then track
was it
miss.
Nick Martin just slapped it out of his hand and said, "Cheers, brother." And
Yeah.
that was sort of the comeback done.
And then track missed one from the goal square.
Yeah, got a little push on the bum and just
Oh,
In 2 years' time, the D's could be rolling around with the youngest list in the comp.
we're one of the youngest lists at the moment. We're sort of got...
But you've got a spine that's...
No, we got a big chunk that... we've got a tiny amount that are 30 plus. We've got
Jack Billings would be pushing 30.
we got a big chunk that are like 28 to 30, and then we got a big chunk that are 18 to 23, and we got no one in the middle. We got no 23 to 26 year olds, and the ones that are like Cozzy and Riv, and there's speculation that Cos won't be there.
Volatile.
So I'm of the belief, and it's against the grain if you talk to many other Melbourne supporters, because everyone's in the blow it up and get draft picks, and I'm like, getting younger's not going to help because we're already so young. There needs to be a little bit of a refresh at the top. Like, I feel like some of those 30 pluses aren't going to be there next season. But I think we need like a Collingwood, Adelaide, Hawthorn, Geelong style crop of 3 25, 26-year-old free agents to bridge the gap.
Who are some names in that ilk that you think?
So like the Crows bring in Cummings, Peatling, and Neil Bullen, and it just helps.
Neil Bullen would be handy. Wouldn't he?
helps thicken the depth in the 22 immediately. The Cats bring in Martin, Bazlenka, and whatnot. They bring in players at that prime age all the time, and it just helps. I feel like we don't have anyone in that middle gap, and I'm pretty confident in our under 22s. I think Langford, Windsor, I really love Colton
Love
Tholstrop,
'em.
Judd McVie, Jake Bowie's going to another level. Cos, Riv, like they're all still under, like they'd be like 23, 24 now, but there's that good crop there, and then we've got that aging crop at the top. I feel like we need to add that middle tier list, and a lot of teams are doing it at the moment. You don't have to blow up the list and just
Yeah,
get...
I think you might have to blow it up.
The reason
That's
I
going
would,
to take a long time then. I'm not...
the reason I would think maybe you need to blow it up is you've got Oliver and Petrarca who are in the age-wise the prime of their career.
And you're
who
not winning.
Look done. Like they are... Like Oliver, it's a great story. He's come back, and I love Clayton Oliver, and he's playing good footy. He's playing good footy, but he was a top 5 player in the comp.
Yeah.
Like he's nowhere near that. He's a good footballer. I'd take him at North in a heartbeat. He'd get a game at any club. He's playing good footy. He's not anywhere near what he was. Petrarca looks like he's like lost a step, and maybe body wise, which for right reasons, he had a horrific injury last year. Looks maybe not timid's harsh, but just not himself. And
I think timid would be fair.
Yeah, it's
But
a bit
you
harsh.
can't
though, because-
blame him. You can't blame him.
No, you can't blame him.
I don't think you can
You can't
blame him.
blame
But
him.
I think he is playing timid. He used to be this big, bustling bull. So
He looks like he's lost a step as well, though. Am I crazy?
No,
No, you're right. You're right. But is it one where Clary's just like he's getting 30 most weeks, just starting to find a little bit of form. Track's just.
But so is Jack McRae.
But is
Clary's not playing bad. He's playing good.
But is Petrarca just starting to find his body? You know, is it one where you just get rid of all these blokes and in 12 months they're actually back playing?
This was your 1A and 1B midfielders. Like these were game-breaking midfielders in 2021. Like Petrarca and Oliver, both top 5 midfielders in the comp.
Both.
Like both of them. And
At
now
one
they're
stage,
playing.
all the list of top 5, it was Track gone.
Yeah.
Like we had 3 in the top 5 at one
Correct.
stage.
Yep.
And now you can't win a game of footy.
And you do not have a key forward. Van Rooyen, obviously there's talent there. And he's young. He can come on for sure.
but we've been saying that for 2 years as well.
I think there's in an ideal situation there would be more time for him. But the way it's happening right now, a guy out of confidence, but he's still your best key forward.
And I can't even blame JVR because he doesn't get great inside entries.
So what is happening at the D's is we're reimagining a way to play. But we're
Is that
What is the change up? So it used to be constant
it was contest and defense, and now it's like score off the back half and try and be quick with your ball
But
movement.
like even like a Salem who in 2021, great player, penetrating kick, direct kick, could cut up the ground. He's again not playing bad, but he doesn't have that edge that he was playing with.
Yeah,
then.
so
And maybe injury wise,
it's sort of like if we were all in form, like all the players playing as well as they could play, maximising their potential, and we were reconfiguring the way we play, maybe we aren't getting these results just on performance alone. A couple can drag us over the line, or if we were all sort of out of form but all on the same page playing the new system, maybe we could pinch a couple of games. But it's like everyone is out of form.
Yeah.
Like Fritter, who I would say is one of the best medium forwards in the comp, can't get a kick. You know, so we're all out of shape, and then we're not all on the same page, and it's extrapolating the form. Like we're playing horrendous football. We're not going to beat Freo this week. We'll be 0-6. We have the Tigers and West Coast afterwards, and then we got a pretty rough run. So if it's going to get like, it's already alarm bells. The season's already done. You know, we're looking into the future, but we're a bit of a mess. Like we have a interim president. We got a new president coming in. We haven't filled the CEO position. And people are saying get rid of the coach. If you don't have a coach, CEO and president in a season, that's local footy stuff. Like there's no leadership or structure. That is concerning. So I don't know.
Do you think the confidence of the players and the connection of the club, which is like doesn't seem very together on the field, and you know there's obviously been talk about higher ups and stuff. Do you think that the shirking of these big topics and even is it Gary Pert and the famous him and Gary Lyon interview that they had, where Gary was like putting it on him, and it was a lot of this no accountability sort of thing, sort of deflect. Even the stuff with Petrarca, like it's obviously he wants to leave at a point, and then no, he's happy, he's contracted, he's happy, and Petrarca gun to his head, I'm happy. Do you think these things stem from the top down and that filters through the group, and ultimately it's what is it, a bit of a cancer in the club, and it's affecting the output of the team? Or is that too deep? Have I gone too far there? Or
Oh, mate, I'm so sick of this G's chat.
No, it would look like it. That point, it would appear that the cracks off field have affected the on field.
Has to.
Accountability is the number one thing, I think. Just take it for what it is.
I could talk about that
Yeah.
topic for a
Sort it
long
out.
time, but
Yeah, true. Probably not the time.
But has to. I think there's no world in which it doesn't, especially with a crop that is older, and it probably has a little bit more ties to the corporate side, because like you look at Gorney, and we need to get off the D's, but you look at Gorney, he does so much for the corps, and Viney probably over the last decades done so much for the front office. So, you know, and Truck's obviously sick of him.
You know what I
Clary's
feel like?
probably sick of him.
You know what I feel like? I feel like the Pies, when they got rid of Buckley. Like, I feel like we've got a nice little young crop. If we keep a couple of the senior players, bring in some 26-year-olds, proven players around that, I think we can refresh really quickly and bounce back up. But it is a very precarious situation. We are no CEO, no president, and people are saying, get rid of your coach. What are we doing? We're not even a organisation if we don't have either of those positions filled. So it's a watch this space. But
It'd be very interesting to be like a fly in the wall there because, sorry, just quickly, I know Bass wants to move on, but it was Benny Crow's at the D's right now, isn't he?
Yeah.
And he's the man that like famously got that whole Richmond team on the same page. And I think it was the Dylan Friends podcast I listened to with Ben Crow on it. Had everyone crying and basically just brought that whole group together. And yeah, basically, didn't make the no accountability excuses sort of thing. So he's in at the D's. So do you feel like there is maybe a little bit of transformation going on behind the scenes and it's just obviously not coming on field at all? No. So
I would say
what's Benny doing?
From what I've seen, I would say that there would be. Like what I've seen in the interviews and the way that they act with each other, and I'm reading a lot into it, but there's been a lot of healing that's taken place. Maybe it's just we're out of sorts as a footy. Maybe
You
it
know
is
what
just...
I've seen, Dos?
Yeah.
0-5. That's what I've seen.
Numbers,
Yeah,
stats don't lie.
Well, we beat
Fantasy don't lie.
We beat
Fantasy don't lie.
We beat GWS in round 1 in my mind. So
Not going to lie, boys. I'm just going to really glance over Carlton West Coast because
Sorry,
I don't think Carlton deserve our praise for beating West Coast.
No.
And that might just be me.
Do you know who the Blues play next week?
North boys.
Yep, Vroos, Good Friday clash.
Yeah.
I'm a little
Scary.
bit gutted
Scary.
about Kempy.
Out for...
What is it, Achilles?
They reckon he might have ruptured the Achilles.
Yeah, because he just went down, hey.
He was their
didn't-
best forward
He went
this
down
year.
ghost.
Yeah.
It's probably their best forward this season.
Yeah, well, what, did he kick a bag of 5 or 6 or
A
something?
little 4 or
Against
5
the
pace
Dogs.
combo.
Yeah.
And then Norton said, I'm going to kick and hit the post, over the post, and we win.
Yeah.
Well, I think this is our ball magnet of the week, by the way.
No way.
Georgie Hewitt had 39.
Did he actually?
Yeah.
He did, yeah.
Which
He's,
he can do it.
They've got so much, like, I've said this a million times, but they've got depth on every position. Like, if George Hewitt is...
Do they?
That is horrible.
Do you think?
Where do they have backline depth? They've got Nick Haynes playing and everyone wants him gone.
It's Jacob Wiedering versus the world down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would argue forward depth is really
Very
struggling
thin as well,
too.
I would say, if they're plucking out Lewis Young and Camp, who's
I
looked
feel like
good at it.
over the last 2 years they've lost all their
Yeah,
depth.
not to call you out, Dos. I feel like there's not a whole lot of depth at Carlton. Is that?
But in my head, when I think, like, George Hewitt's your 6th string midfielder.
Is he though?
No, he's not. He's been starting
he's
in
the,
there.
like,
Crippa, Walsh, Chera.
I think Hewitt's more important than Chera.
I
Jagger
think
Smith.
Hewitt's a more powerful mover than a lot of them, and he's a pretty decent kick. So I feel like maybe they're going, let's get it to him a bit more because his entries are a bit better than a Crippa
And
or
he's not getting as
Walsh.
much attention.
Yeah, that is true as well.
I just feel like if he's, like, your sort of 3rd or 4th bloke coming in and he's getting 39, you're looking pretty good shape in the mid.
Yeah, well, yeah, when you put it like that, but I don't.
And then, like, Lewis Young, if he's come, or Kemp to fill a forward position, they played 100 games. They're ready. Like, I don't know, like, a lot of people's depth, they're either young or inexperienced. But I feel like Carlton, they're bringing blokes in to fill positions, but they're ready to go AFL footballers. They're very mature
I
side.
can see what you're saying, but I feel like as a glance
Talent.
at the list, it's not depth. I don't feel, but when you put it in that way, that you have ready to go guys filling holes.
Like, they've just all
I
played
guess.
80 games. Every
Yeah.
one of their lists has played like 80 to 100 games. It feels like.
Yeah.
Well, Crippa, our man, who actually gave us a shout out, Monday Magnets, gave Monday Magnets a shout. I don't even know if you saw this, but on the Ball Magnets pod that went on the AFL's YouTube and is also now on the Ball Magnets YouTube, Crippa gave us a plug, shameless plug, which
What
was
a
awesome.
legend.
What did he say?
He just said, "Yeah, I'm loving what the Monday Magnets are doing."
Get out of town.
Yeah, I'll send
That's
you the
fuck.
clip.
I love what Crippa does.
Yeah,
often.
bloody oath. And I love that he kicked 3 goals, 3. Could have
Wow.
kicked 6.
He looks like a key forward.
He's unreal.
I mean, he
Crippa.
probably could if he wanted to.
I'm not with the cool kids, and I don't know the words and stuff. But Crippa
Riz.
was in here, and I was glancing, seeing you guys do your stuff with Crippa and Tommy, and aura is just what I relate to when I look at Crippa. He's just a beautiful man, soul and face, and he's cool. I just liked his aura. That's the only word I could come up with. Sorry, just had to chuck that in. Beautiful man.
Probably one of the nicest blokes I've met.
Yeah,
in the
his
industry.
energy, his aura.
One of the great
was cool.
guys.
Yeah.
One of the great guys. Because you guys wanted to spend 15 minutes on the D's.
Sorry.
then
I
I'm
reckon we
gonna-
spent longer on the Saints. I reckon if you timed it, we spent
Bullshit.
longer on the Saints.
No.
Tune in for an hour on the Roos right now.
Because of that, I'm going to need Cookson to give us a comprehensive 2-minute rundown
He
of
gets two,
North
I got
Melbourne
one.
versus Gold Coast.
So I didn't watch the first half because I was getting beaten by 180 points in local footy with you guys. That was brutal.
Which was great. Which was
so
great fun.
On the way home in the car, had it up on my phone. We were up by 10 points when I tuned in, and I think we went 10 goals to nothing or 11 goals to 1 or something when I watched. So am I bad luck? Potentially. But not 100% across the first half, where apparently we looked all right. But something's got to be adjusted with this running out games, because the last 2 weeks, the boys have come out of halftime and forgotten how to play, and the intensity's dropped, and that's not good enough.
Gold Coast are real.
Gold Coast are real.
Gold Coast are real.
Like, it's not
real.
even a... Like, we've seen them get off to like a 2-0 start because the AFL have fed them a couple of easy fixtures just to get them on the board and create some energy up at Queensland for AFL. But they're doing it on the road. Like, every game's pretty much been on the road for them. They're doing it comprehensively.
They're going to have like an 8-game home stretch almost at the end of the year, it feels like, yeah.
Sam Collins, underrated
Love Sam
footballer,
Collins, yeah.
elite competitor, legendary key defender. I'd love him at the Roos.
I think when they play Essendon in that bye week for finals, I think that'll be them trying to cement a top 2 position.
Wow. I'm not 100% off that. That's not a bad call, but wow.
And congratulations, LDU.
Well done. You retained one.
That is a positive. That is a positive.
You got one down.
It just
Yeah.
felt like he was going.
Yeah,
It did.
Saints
It did.
looked good. Friday night, Collingwood Swans. A little bit underwhelming, but Collingwood are looking better week by week. Still side bottom. Has he just hit another prime or something?
Yeah, he was unreal, especially in that first half, wasn't he?
Oh my! But he's looked good all the whole
Yeah.
season.
Well, I feel like Still Sidebottom is one of those players that his whole career has been very solid and seen as underrated. But the start of last year, he looked like he had that the hangover big time out of those premiership guys. But
So don't
he's
write
built-
off your 30 pluses.
Exactly, he's built into last year, and this year he started very strong, and you're with it. What about Ned Long?
Yeah, serious.
Come on, he's a strong boy.
He's a strong boy. A lot of improvement for him to come as a footballer, but the fact that he can get 28, 29 touches, light work on a really good midfield.
How old is he?
22?
And
23?
where has he been?
I think he's mature age. Is he like a mid-season type?
I think he's been on the list for at least a year or two.
Was he at Hawthorn?
don't think
Am I
so.
tripping?
No,
Maybe
that's
I'm
Ned
wrong.
Reeves.
No, Ned Reeves is a big ruckman. I'm not talking about him.
What was really
He might have
interesting...
been. I think Long's a mature age.
He may be. What was interesting, Jamie Elliott kicked 3 goals too and got subbed.
Yeah, rest
Like-
that old boy.
Yeah, because it could have been 5, and that's not good enough. And Craig McRae likes to drive the standards.
He's a stud, Jamie Elliott.
You know who else has been really good? Pat Lipinski.
Yeah,
Been really good.
On TikTok as well. Very good.
he's a great body type, isn't he? Lipinski likes moving well.
Pendlebury's building too. Pendlebury's seriously building into this year.
I feel like Pendlebury can have a 12-touch game and still be super valuable out there.
Yeah.
Purely the football smarts.
But he
Like,
had 26.
what do they say? Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, like, on-field coach, he's already such an upside for that Collingwood team. But yeah.
I don't know if Sydney Swans are going to make another long finals push with this list. Josh Dacos also got tagged out of the game really well.
Joshy
as well.
he hasn't started the year too hot, Joshy.
But yeah, it's going to be tough. And this Swans list is so talented, but it's going to be tough. And then we're going to move to the Thursday, which probably was the
No,
one
it's
of
just
the more...
Dangerfield take on.
He's unreal. Danger.
He changed the game.
He
You
did.
guys went to school. You went to school with
I
him?
went to school with
him,
Danger.
You went to his house?
No, I haven't.
No, we went to a house with
We
him.
went to a house with him,
True.
yeah.
We did footy at home for the AFL, and we did it with Danger
Or
in
was
a
that a
house.
display home?
Yeah, he called me fat.
Did he?
Nah, he didn't. We were just mucking around, and he was like, there was cakes or something, and I'm
We had
like,
to dig
oh,
into those.
I was
Nah, we
like
had
one
to
of these.
dig-
He's like, you're always hungry or something. I
Yeah,
was like,
we put a bit into the video about eating snacks.
Nah, Ripper bloke, Danger. Good, like, just feels like an older cousin that takes piss out of you in a
Like
friendly, funny way.
he's got the best sense of humor where everyone hates Danger because it's like this sort of arrogant, witty like humor. It's very sarcastic. He's very dry, but if you know, you know, and he's
a good
so
bloke to be
funny.
around. Yeah.
He's
No, I
so
like him.
funny.
Yeah.
Cat's got up and speak of volatile. I feel like this Cat side is a little bit volatile because you can't come out and beat the Crows at home on their home deck and gather round, and 2 weeks prior you're losing to the Saints in Marvel.
But
That's
but
the
in this
Cats.
game again, they gave up like 6 goals in a row.
The Cats are not an emotional football club. They stick to what they know. They back in their systems. Chris Scott's a genius. He adapts. Like over the 10 years or whatever he's been there, he's different play styles, different play types, just changes to what works. Like they have two losses in a row.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter. They come back to the drawing board, and I don't think their best footy is good enough to beat like a Giants best or a Hawks best, but they will bring a level that will be able to compete with anyone. So if you're off, they could walk into a flag, the Cados, if teams don't rock up against them.
Baz Smith.
Yeah, I love it.
Loved
I love
it.
him. I love him.
Yeah,
I loved the interview
Yep.
on the
Yeah.
street, and they're like, "Do
No,
you
mate.
apologise?" No, mate. Why would I apologise, mate? Like,
Yeah.
people do.
Sorry for the kids.
People do way more to me, mate. Like, it's just I was just sticking up to the skipper, mate. It's just,
Like it. And we don't even know what was said to Danger, but
In a very
Like it.
fabricated football world where everything's a little bit fake and you got to sort of tighten up your collar and it's all sharp and shiny and we're all good people, like all,
yeah.
I think Baz tries to keep it as real as he can, and I actually really respect that. I love
I
it.
liked when he said, Danger can't defend himself. He's got like 3 kids, but I don't have a reputation. Like, no one cares about me.
Yeah, he already knows he's got a little bit of a bad boy reputation. He's like, oh, well,
Read into it. Yeah.
unreal.
What is a bit ironic is the first time I met Baz Smith was at Mitchell and Ness grand final week party. It was Connor Sports party at the end of every year. And we're just kind of, weird, this weird little circle. I don't want to flex here, but I'm just trying to tell a story. It's me, the Shep boys, both the Sheps, Baz, Jamara, Paul Connors.
DiCaprio.
Yeah.
In a circle. What is ironic about it was I was very sick at the time as well, but I was working hard to be there. And I get into like a cough fit, like just like, when you just start coughing, you can't get rid of that cough. And he goes, hurry up, mate, are you all right? Are you all good?
I worked at Channel 7 over the summer, and
Just bloody big balls off. Well, I laid grass once the other day, so that was...
and Bazlenka came in, and it was one where you felt like you didn't have much time with him, and I, just to be polite, wanted to get him in and out. I didn't want to stuff him around too much, so I had a sense of urgency. So I was trying to get through the games really quickly, and one of the games was showing him old Geelong Footy Club jumpers, and he just says a name that comes to mind, like a Ronnie Burns or whatever. Anyway, I was showing some old Geelong kids, and as I clicked onto my phone to show him, my phone went weird and went into when
He
it's
was
like
on something different on Safari. He was on
You
incognito
nearly
mode.
said something I shouldn't say. Come on.
when it has albums of what happened last week or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
So I click on, and it was me, and I had sunburn, and I'd taken a photo to show my partner, and it's me looking like I had red eyes, and my face is really red, and I was topless, and it's me just taking a selfie. And I went, oh, far out. What's my phone doing? I swipe off, and Baz he's like, nah, don't worry, man. Don't be embarrassed. Man, I got worse. Don't worry. And he
lovely
tried to
dude.
make me feel so good straight away. But it was one where you're just oh, that is so cringe. I'm just showing him a topless
He's just the
sunburn.
best bloke.
Well, I don't think I've met Bazlenka, so I don't have a story. But me and Caden were at the airport once, and Caden just started filming him from behind.
That was
Just-
before he was Bazlenka as well.
Yeah, he was just the
He's just
guy with the
Bailey.
mullet at the doggies.
He DM'd you.
Yeah, Dos did a video on his
I remember
YouTube
that.
channel that was DMing
100
as many
AFL players to see who replies.
and me and him were just sending rogue-ass messages to every AFL player and their dog. And Baz didn't reply in time for the video, but he replied later and was like, oh, I love that stuff, boys. Good as, that's
Yeah.
funny. And I was like, oh, thanks, man. Can
Love
we
that.
be
He's a great
friends?
fella. We love him. Maybe I don't think he'll come on the pod, but we can hope.
I reckon he would. If you, you boys obviously wouldn't give him a stitch-up job.
No.
So I
Before
reckon
we land the plane, we lost by 180 points in local footy, and it was the talk of the town. I heard that people were telling me that people around the pubs in Melbourne, everyone was aware of that result.
Is this true?
Yeah, I got
my.
told that everyone in the local footy scene was aware that we got flogged by 180 points.
Well, when you kicked your goal, one of their players came up to me and said, oh, so you're going to post the vlog now? And I was like,
Yep.
yeah, it was going
Yeah.
to get posted anyway, bro. Well, Cados kicked a goal. When you kicked it, their bench was going, no, not him. Oh, we didn't want him to kick one.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, I find it so funny that people feel the need to, that'll go good on the vlog. Yeah, mate, it will.
Mate.
It doesn't matter that we lost by 180.
Mate, the vlog's coming
we're still gonna make heaps of money from this.
It's a
we're still going to
store.
get paid for this. This is our job. We get paid to do this.
Not me.
Sorry, Vafa. No, we don't get paid to do it, but our content-wise, there's...
You know what I find funny? The one that I find funny is people will come out and they'll go, oh, get that one on camera, mate, and give us a sledge. But at training all week, they're going, oh, we're going to be on the cameras this week. So on one hand, it's like, get your cameras out, boys, your vlogs. But then they're rocking up a little bit excited that it is going to be on camera. So I find that
what's funny is I'll wrap it up on this, but the team we played the week prior, they DM'd us after the game.
Wanting the footage?
Not wanting the footage. They wanted us for a Friday night fixture so they could get all their club around. Because they thought it was
every team.
Like, okay, so you're going to lip us, but you want us to come to your guys' oval to make a big spectacle game to get your whole community down because you know we're going to bring numbers to your club.
Surely we're not in the same div as either of the two teams that played the last 2 weeks. We're getting pumped.
We cop it a little bit and whatnot. And obviously, I don't know, we're bringing cameras down to a local footy game. We probably deserve it a little bit. But it's all love at the end of the day. I think that they enjoy it. It adds something to the 9:20 random thirds game. Like, back in the day, they wouldn't be able to fill sides. Like, even the opposition couldn't fill sides on the thirds at the 9:20. So I feel like it's good for local footy. It's good fun. And 90% of the time, the opposition seem to take it in their stride. So the vlogs have been fun. We just got to start winning.
Bloody oath, boys. Thanks so much for today.
So much fun.
Guys, I'm so sorry that... I'm actually thinking kind of maybe this illness has made me a better host because I've just let you guys go a little bit more.
I talk too much, sorry.
No, Cookson, you were unreal today.
Cookson was unreal.
Really?
Cookson was unreal.
We'll have to watch the footage back before we can confirm that.
You know, you don't look at him and think, he can speak, that man, but...
What does that mean?
You can speak, brother.
You reckon?
I'm excited to go get a toasty with you now.
I can't wait. I'm not leaving. I'm not
fucking leaving.
Oh, he said it.
Say it.
Thanks. Why do I not look like I can speak?
Because you look like a nufty.
Do you reckon?
You look like a Geelong Karaya nufty.
What about when I had a beard and a bit of hair? Did I still look like a nufty?
Just go it out.
What is a nufty?
I don't know. Nufty? I don't know.
All right, boys. Thanks again.